Yes guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're at Brands Hatch Indy doing today's daily race B. Now I'm rather glad to report that I am now in driver ranking B, and I'm going to be using the Genesis G70 Group 4 car to see if we can get in the top 5. Now the title or the thumbnail of this video is going to include the words shut up and drive, because practicing and having a go at this game properly without doing any videoing, I seem to be faster. Is that going to work today? And off we go. So straight away, P7 into T1. Will we survive? That is always the question. And yes, we did. Now, my aim here, bearing in mind I have driven this track a few times in real life, is just to keep with the pack. And something that's rather unusual is that today's race B requires a mandatory hit stop. Normally race B's kind of jump in and go, race C's the more endurance and you have to pit. So bearing that in mind, and that this is a 10 lap race, I was just thinking keep with the pack and pit when they pit. But already our Cypriot friend over here decides to send the guy in the Renault into Mr. Barrier. So I'm thinking already this guy's going to be savage, and he's got a Red Bull livery. So straight away I'm like, yeah, this guy's going to try and Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton me into the wall. But I say, you know what, hold my line, brake a bit earlier, keep the inside line and continue to keep the inside line, and it served me well. And again, braking nice and early, getting nice and tight onto the apex. That way he can't undercut me. And again, everything seems to be rosy. Now, this part of the track, which I'm not really sure of the name, bearing in mind I live about 30 minutes from this track, people tend to use quite a bit of it, but I wasn't about that life. I said I'm going to keep everything nice and clean. That way I don't push more than I need to, and I can continue to stay with the pack. So coming into Paddock Hill Bend, I kind of got my braking points mixed up, and the Cypriot pounced on it, went straight on the inside, and I was back into 6th place. Again, I thought I could have him, but I said nah, live to fight another day. There's still another 7 laps left, and again, where he's got a Red Bull livery, I just really didn't trust this guy. Now, if you've driven Brands Hatch, you know that getting Paddock Hill Bend right is sensational. And as you can see, I got it right. So overtaking the Cypriot into this hairpin here, and try not to really focus on what I'm doing. Obviously parking myself on the hairpin again. Up ahead, I see a bit of nudging, and P1 absolutely sends off the Dutchman and just continues on his way. Up ahead, we actually have Max Verstappen's son, Matt Verstappen. If you believe that, go home. I'll put my nose in there to have a sniff, and he says, nah, little wipe, we're good as gold. Now moving into the final corner, I'm thinking he's a bit shaky, but luckily he decides to pit, and the pit lane on Brands Hatch is probably the best in the world. Quick right, left, and you're in. Nothing fancy, job's a good one. So now, after setting my fastest lap, I felt, you know what, there's still some life in the tyres, and there's 4 more laps to do. So I thought if I could get close to P1 and 2, something could happen. And again, I got my turn wrong, I'm all over the gaff, but still within reach. If you're within a 1.5 seconds, in my opinion, anything can happen. Now I feel like I'm losing some time here, because the amount of off-track that GTR just used was savage, but fair play for Brands Hatch being a track you can kind of abuse. Again, I get my apex wrong, so I'm kind of concentrating on him, and then the chap decides to pit. But listen to this. He absolutely bulldozes himself into the pit lane. Bearing in mind, it's probably one of the most straightforward pit lanes in the game. Now, this is my first time in driver ranking B where I'm in P2. So all I'm thinking about now is holding on to it, to be honest with you. I'm not even trying to win. But if there is an opportunity, then I will take the opportunity. So we're pushing on, not too hard, but enough to keep P1 within reach. Bearing in mind, I know that that is P1 from before. Now, bearing in mind, I like to pit when I look at my delta and it tends to be red. So I decided with 2 laps left, I'd pit. And did my pit go well? Right into a left and straight in. Again, only option, racing hards, no refueling, and let's go. And as you can see, I'm getting a bit itchy there because I can smell victory. The Yokohama livery is looking lovely. Hurry up, change the tyres. Yeah, you can see I'm getting very, come on, let's go, good. And we're out again, and we come out in P4 behind Matt Verstappen. Now, I was thinking, all I want is a podium. Please, just P1, P2, or P3. Probably going to be a P3. But again, I must get past Matt Verstappen, who I think might play fair. So I just continue to push. I don't take any chances and try and get all of my apexes right. Now, bearing in mind that you have to pit, some of these guys tend to leave it to the last minute. And as you can see, P1 decides to pit. And it's at this point I say, you know what, bruv, I'm going to try and get there. So I decide to give it all I've got. Push, push, push. Still in P4. P2 is pitting now as well, the Cypriot. And we're pushing, and we're pushing. And somebody seems to be coming out of the pits. Can I get there before him? And I squeeze in. Probably the wrong way, but it's a game. He was ghosted, and I managed to get into P3. Now, I'm just thinking, park myself on every single apex, and the Cypriot, bearing in mind we have had a little tussle, is going to play fair. Corner. Everything's going well. 0.3, 0.2 seconds behind, and he's all over the gaff. I am sweating buckets here, but luckily I use Shaw right for men. And we're going again. Final corner. Park myself on the apex. Looking in my radar, it looks like he's getting gapped, and I'm coming home, as you can see, rather elated with a P2. My first P2 in driver ranking B.
Come on! Woo! Come on! Wow. Can you see it? Can you see that? Driver ranking B. Come on. Driver ranking, a podium in driver ranking B at my home circuit. Bearing in mind I'm in the UK, so I got like 5 brands edged on into an old. But yeah, up 5 places. Don't know why I didn't get the clean race, but I will take that. And I think it's a note to myself. Shut up and drive. Guys, thanks for watching the video. If you have enjoyed it, smash the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever a new video goes live. As always, I hope you're well, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and God bless.